I was laid off, but I didn't tell her right away. I just worked Uber and saved what I could. When she found out, she packed my bags and said, "You're not the man I fell for." I left quietly. A year later, when she applied for a job at my new company, I was laid off from my job in Dallas. I worked for a mid-sized distribution company, managing logistics and warehouse flow. I'd been there for 6 years. I gave that place everything. Overtime, weekends, missed birthdays. I never complained. I was always dependable. Then, one day last spring, we got pulled into this big company-wide Zoom call. The HR lady looked nervous. The CEO didn't even show up. They said they were right-sizing. I was one of the first to go. They gave me 2 weeks severance. That's it. No warning. Just a polite, "Thank you," and a folder of paperwork. I remember walking out to my truck and sitting in silence. Not angry. Not crying. Just stuck. I felt like the ground under me had shifted. I didn't tell Lisa right away. Lisa was my girlfriend. We'd been together for 3 years. We weren't married, but we lived together in a decent 2-bedroom apartment near Lower Greenville. I paid most of the bills. She worked at a yoga studio part-time. She made money doing private sessions, but it wasn't steady. I couldn't bring myself to tell her. I didn't want her to panic. I didn't want to look weak. So I kept quiet. That same day, I applied to drive Uber. I started the next morning. I'd be out from 5 a.m. to late afternoon. I'd say traffic at work was crazy, or we had inventory issues. I made enough to keep rent paid and food on the table. I stopped buying little things. I sold some electronics, cut all extras. I watched every dollar. I was tired all the time, but I didn't complain. I kept trying to land interviews, but nothing stuck. Everyone wanted a college degree or some BS I didn't have. Lisa didn't seem to notice at first. But after about a month, things got weird. She stopped asking how my day was. She was always texting. She'd come home late from sessions and say she was tired. She didn't want to talk or go out. She didn't touch me. We stopped being close. I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how bad. Then, 6 weeks after I got laid off, I came home early. I'd gotten a flat tire and cut my shift short. It was around 2:30 p.m. when I walked into the apartment. She was sitting on the couch with a half-eaten salad, looking through the mail. That's when I saw it in her hand, the severance letter from my old job. It had the company name printed on the envelope. She stared at it, then looked up at me. "You were laid off?" I nodded. "Yeah." "For how long?" "About a month and a half." She stood up. "And you didn't think to tell me?" "I didn't want to worry you. I've been working Uber. Making enough to. Are you serious right now?" Her face twisted. "You lied to me. Every single day, you left this house pretending you still had a job." "I was trying to keep us afloat. You were trying to protect your ego." She walked into the bedroom. I followed her, trying to explain. She didn't listen. She started grabbing my clothes. My sneakers. My charger. Tossing them into my old gym bag. "What are you doing?" "I can't do this. I didn't sign up for this mess. It's temporary, Lisa. I'm working my ass off. You're not the man I fell for. You don't even have a real job." That line hit me like a punch in the gut. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stood there while she packed my stuff like I was some loser roommate. She said I could crash at a friend's place. Until I figured things out. I left. I moved into my buddy Mike's spare room. He didn't ask questions. I kept driving. I barely slept. I pushed harder to find something steady. I updated my resume a dozen times. Reached out to old coworkers. No luck. Then one day, I got a message from a guy I met years ago at a conference. He was launching a tech startup in Austin. He needed someone who knew logistics. The job paid a lot less than I used to make, but I took it. I didn't care about the pay. I needed the shot. That was the beginning. For the next year, I went all in. I moved to Austin. I worked 12-hour days. I took on extra responsibilities. I helped redesign their whole operations system. I saved the company tens of thousands in the first 6 months. They noticed. By the end of that year, I was promoted to head of operations. I had stock options. I had a team. I got my own office. We rebranded the company. We grew fast. Things turned around for me, hard. I got my own condo. Upgraded my truck. Paid off debt. My life looked nothing like it did a year before. Then one day, HR sends me a list of applicants for a new office manager role. I skim through the names quickly. Most of them are just a blur. Until I see hers. Lisa. Her full name. Right there in front of me. I stared at it for a long time. She had a basic resume. No mention of me. No mention of Dallas. Just that she had some admin experience and wanted something stable. I called HR. Bring this one in for an interview. I'll join. They didn't know anything about our history. To them, she was just another applicant. The day of the interview came. When she walked into the office, I swear time stopped. She looked the same, mostly, but older somehow. Tired. Her clothes weren't as flashy. No makeup. No jewelry. She looked surprised to see me. She opened her mouth, but I cut her off. Lisa, I said, shaking her hand. Thanks for coming in. She just stared at me. You work here? I run the operations team. Let's go into the conference room. We sat across from each other. I was stone-faced. She looked nervous. She tried to explain, said she didn't know this was where I worked. Said she'd been struggling. She didn't go into detail, but I could guess. Probably lost her studio job. Maybe got ghosted by whoever she thought was going to save her after she kicked me out. I asked her the standard interview questions. She stumbled. She wasn't prepared. She didn't have the skills. She didn't have the experience. I wrote her up as not a fit. She didn't get a second interview. A week later, she messaged me. First on LinkedIn. Then a text. Can we talk? I didn't respond. She kept trying. I didn't know things would get this hard. I miss you. I made a mistake. I still didn't reply. Until she sent this one. I never should have pushed you away. You were doing everything you could. I see that now. I'm sorry. That's when I answered. You threw me out when I needed someone the most. Now I'm doing just fine, and you want back in. Sorry, but that door closed a long time ago. Then I blocked her. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. About 2 months went by after I blocked her. I thought it was over. But then one morning, around 9:30, my receptionist at work buzzed me. There's a woman here asking for you. She says she knows you personally. My stomach dropped. Did she give a name? Yeah. Lisa. I paused. Tell her I'm in a meeting. Already did, she said, sounding unsure. But she's still sitting in the lobby. I got up, walked over to the security cameras, and checked the feed. There she was. Same Lisa. Just different. Her hair looked messy, like she hadn't taken care of it. She wore plain clothes, not her usual yoga luxe look. She had a tote bag, her eyes puffy like she'd been crying. I stood there watching her for a minute. She looked lost. Then I turned around, went back to my office, and shut the door. An hour later, my phone buzzed. This time, it was a message from a number I didn't recognize. I just wanted to say sorry to your face. I'm not asking for anything. I didn't answer. She stayed in the lobby another hour before she finally left. I thought that was it again. But later that week, I ran into Mike, my old buddy, the one who let me stay at his place when she kicked me out. We hadn't caught up in a while, so we grabbed a beer after work. Halfway through his drink, He gave me a weird look. You talked to Lisa lately? I stopped mid-sip. Not really. Why? She reached out to me. On Instagram. Said she wanted to apologize, asked if I'd tell you she's changed. I leaned back in my chair. What did you say? He shrugged. Told her she burned that bridge hard. That you were doing great and probably didn't want anything to do with her. I appreciated that. But it bothered me she was reaching out to people I knew. Digging. Then came the kicker. 3 weeks later, I'm at this tech networking event in Austin. Bunch of small startups, founders, venture guys. I'm talking to this guy Troy. He runs one of our partner companies. He's a little flaky but decent enough. We're chatting when he says, "Hey, I think I met your ex." I raise an eyebrow. Lisa? Yeah. She came in for an interview. Said she used to date you. Asked a lot of questions about our relationship with your company. That set off alarms in my head. I asked him if she said anything weird. He said she just seemed curious, maybe a little too curious. Like she was fishing. I didn't like that. So I checked her LinkedIn. She'd updated her location to Austin. She'd listed freelance virtual assistant as her title now. She was following all our company pages, liking every post we put out. She was watching. I didn't say anything, but I started keeping an eye on it. Then, one of our newer junior team members, Haley, messaged me privately. "Hey, I don't want to stir drama, but some woman named Lisa has been DMing me. Said she's your ex. Asked me questions about the office, like what the culture's like and if you're seeing anyone." Kinda creeped me out. I told Haley to block her and let HR know. Lisa was spiraling. I guess she thought if she couldn't get to me directly, she'd go around me. Message coworkers, mutual friends, business contacts, see if someone would convince me to talk to her. But I wasn't the same guy she threw out. Back then, I would have bent. I would have felt guilty. I would have wondered if maybe I should forgive her. Now I saw it clearly. She didn't come back because she loved me. She came back because life didn't hand her what she expected. Because the guy she left me for didn't pan out, and the safety net she thought she had was gone. She thought I'd be standing there, waiting, still broken. She didn't think I'd move on. She definitely didn't think I'd win. But even with everything going on, I didn't want to mess up my reputation or my job. I kept things quiet. Until I got the email. Not from her. From our legal department. Urgent, personal inquiry regarding individual named Lisa, last name. They'd been contacted by someone claiming I was retaliating against an ex. That I blocked her from employment out of personal bias. That I'd ruined her chances in the industry. There were no legal threats, just concerns, and a request to review hiring practices. I was stunned. She was trying to stir up trouble. But she picked the wrong guy this time. She picked the version of me she thought still needed her. She had no idea what was coming. I walked straight into our legal team's office the next morning. They were already looking into the email. It had come from some Gmail account, no signature, no phone number. Just vague accusations. But they took it seriously. HR was looped in too. They wanted to be cautious. I sat down with them and explained everything. Told them Lisa and I dated. That we lived together. That she kicked me out the day she found out I got laid off. That I hadn't spoken to her since until she applied here, and that even then, I handled her application professionally and marked her unqualified based on skills, not personal history. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I showed them the LinkedIn messages, the text she sent before I blocked her, even screenshots my coworkers had shared about her weird messages. The head of legal, Amanda, listened without interrupting. When I finished, she just nodded. She's not technically threatening anything, but we'll document everything. If she tries to push further, we'll be ready. That should have been the end of it. But she didn't stop. 3 days later, someone left a handwritten note on my truck windshield in the parking garage. It wasn't threatening, but it was personal. Too personal. I miss your quiet mornings. I miss the smell of your coffee. I miss who you used to be. No name. No signature. Just that. Only a few people knew which truck was mine. And only one person had ever said something exactly like that to me, Lisa, back when we were still living together, and I'd get up early before she even opened her eyes. Now I was pissed. I went to security and had them pull the footage. It was her. She showed up around 6 a.m., hoodie up, sunglasses on. Walked straight to my truck, left the note, and walked back out. She didn't even try to hide much. Just enough that if you didn't know her, you'd probably let it go. But I knew. And that wasn't just desperate anymore. That was crossing a line. I filed a no-contact order. I didn't want drama, but I wasn't going to wait until she slashed my tires or showed up at my condo. The court approved it fast. Texas doesn't mess around once you show you've got a pattern of behavior. And for a while, it worked. I didn't hear from her. No weird messages. No anonymous complaints. But then someone new started following me on social media. Fake account. No posts. No followers. But they'd like old pictures. Like ones from 2 years ago. Obvious bait. I blocked it. 2 days later, another. I kept blocking. Over and over. I even started wondering if I was being paranoid. Was it really her? Was I just seeing shadows? Then one night, I got a text from an unknown number. It just said, "I'm sorry it turned out like this." No name. No context. Just that. I didn't respond. I forwarded it to my attorney. I figured it was over again. But that weekend, I was at a local mixer for Austin entrepreneurs, kind of a low-key meetup at a bar. I'd started seeing someone casually. Nothing serious, but nice. Her name was Brianna. She was sharp, had her own career, didn't care about mine. We were standing near the back patio, sipping drinks and talking to a few other people, when someone bumped into me hard from behind. I turned around. It was Lisa. Not by accident either. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Oh, didn't see you there." Then she looked at Brianna and gave her a little smirk. I stepped in between them. "You're violating a no-contact order." She laughed. "Oh, please. I'm not talking to you. I'm just here for the drinks." I grabbed Brianna's hand and walked her out. I explained as much as I could in the car, but I could tell she was uncomfortable. The next morning, Brianna sent me a polite text. "You're a great guy, but I don't think I'm ready for this kind of baggage. Hope you understand." Can't even blame her. Lisa was sabotaging me again, only now, it was in public. She wasn't trying to win me back. She was trying to drag me down. And for the first time in a long time, I was angry. Not just annoyed. Not just hurt. I wanted her to feel what I felt when she stood over me, packing my bags like I was nothing. I wanted her to see what happens when you think you can play with someone's life like it's a disposable thing. I was done waiting for her to stop. I was going to end it on my terms. I wasn't looking for revenge before. But now I was. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to hide anymore. I wasn't going to play defense. I was done waiting for her to burn out. I wanted it finished. Permanently. And I knew how to do it. See, during all this time, Lisa had been bouncing around the freelance scene in Austin. Virtual assistant work, remote admin stuff, mostly low pay, unstable contracts. She also did some influencer coaching, selling herself as a self-growth expert who had overcome betrayal and reclaimed her power. Yeah, you read that right. She turned herself into a victim online. Spun stories about toxic men, fake abuse claims, financial control. And used that to get sympathy clients from other women going through breakups. At first, I ignored it. Let her say whatever she wanted online. But when I dug deeper, I found something else. She wasn't just lying to her followers. She was scamming them. I found a private Facebook group, One she ran under a fake business name, where she was charging women $500 for healing packages, weekly Zoom calls, life worksheets, personalized guidance. But people in the group started posting complaints. That she ghosted them. That she promised refunds and never sent them. That her coaching was just generic advice she read off Instagram. I had screenshots. Dozens. I saved them all. Then I got in touch with 2 of the women she scammed. I didn't lie to them. I told them exactly who I was and what I knew. They weren't surprised. One of them, Rachel, had already tried reporting Lisa to the Better Business Bureau but never heard back. I helped them draft a formal complaint. Not just to the BBB, but to the Texas Attorney General's Office for Small Business Fraud. I attached every screenshot I had. Emails. Payment screenshots. Lisa's real name, her fake business page, and her real address, the one she was using to register her coaching business. Then I made sure she knew it was coming. I didn't contact her directly. I wasn't stupid. I had my lawyer send her a formal notice that any further attempt to contact me or my coworkers would result in legal action. Attached to the letter was a separate document, a copy of the fraud complaints filed against her. Not threats. Just facts. Clean. Legal. She went silent after that. For a few weeks. Until everything blew up. I found out through a post on one of her old business pages. Someone left a comment. Are you the same Lisa that scammed my sister out of $800 for coaching she never got? Then another comment. Then another. It spread fast. Within a week, her little brand was gone. She shut down her site. Deleted all her posts. Blocked everyone she could. But the damage was done. Then came the kicker. Remember that startup my buddy Troy ran? The one where she interviewed and asked questions about my company? Turns out, she was applying for freelance work again and didn't know Troy and I had become real close. He called me one night and said, "Guess who just tried to sell me a pitch deck for a women's self-growth platform?" He forwarded it to me. Same fonts. Same brand colors. Same fake name. She was trying to rebrand her scam. That's when I finally lost it. I took all my documentation, the complaints, the screenshots, the victims' names, and handed it off to a business journalist I knew. She worked freelance for a local digital paper and loved digging into fraud stories. It took 2 weeks. But when the story dropped, it made noise. Wellness coach or con artist? How one woman scammed dozens with fake coaching business. Her full name was in it. So were screenshots. So were victim stories. And guess what? She had used her real business license for tax write-offs. So now the IRS was involved too. That was the final blow. I didn't even have to lift a finger after that. I just watched it all crumble. Her accounts got reported and shut down. The coaching community she'd been trying to build blacklisted her. The women she lied to started warning others, not out of hate, but to protect others from getting played. Last I heard, she left Austin. Someone said she was staying with her cousin in Tulsa, trying to start fresh. No job. No following. No reputation. And me? I stayed quiet. I didn't brag. Didn't post about it. Didn't tell people what I did. But I saw justice happen. Not just for me, for everyone she fooled. And here's the part one didn't expect. A few months after it all died down, I got a message on my company email. It was from Rachel, one of the women Lisa scammed. She just wanted to say thanks. She'd gotten her refund. Lisa paid her back after the Attorney General sent her a final notice. Rachel said she used the money to take her son on a weekend trip. First one they'd had since the divorce. That message meant more than all the revenge in the world. Because I remembered what it felt like, being thrown away when I was at my worst. Being told I wasn't enough. That I wasn't a real man anymore. Lisa tried to ruin me because I failed one time. I made sure the world saw how many people she hurt when she lied every time. I didn't just come back. I made damn sure she'd never forget what she did. And I moved on. Stronger. Smarter. Alone, but not broken. She left me when I was down. But when she needed mercy, I gave her the truth instead.